Alright, so this is like the fourth time I've tried to make this video. I want to talk about clones. I'm sure you guys already read the title of the video, and I'm just going to make my stance very clear up front. I don't own any. I never have, never will. I think the people that buy them fall into one of two groups. The ones who unknowingly buy them, not really thinking much about it, like, oh, cool, a cheap little fidget knife. It's not going to cost much. And it's not really going to hurt anybody. There's that group. And then there's the dude who's been buying them since he's been into knives, like the last 20 years. He's 40 years old, probably still lives in mom's basement. Knowingly buys these knives that are stealing from American companies. If you're that dude, you might want to turn it off now, because there's a lot of hurt feelings coming, and you won't get it no matter what. You will not get the message of this video. Nothing will sink in. You are set in your ways, and you are who you are. So to the other group of people, typically young kids just getting into the gear and knife industry, just becoming adults, not even kids. Some of you guys can be, you know, in your 20s, 30s, late 20s, 30s, something like that. And you're just now getting into this stuff. You're just now getting into knives. Maybe you got bored. You had too many guns, and you're like me. You get into knives, and it's just another hobby, another tactical widget. When you guys buy on Alibaba or whatever, you know, DHgate, wherever, when you're buying these knockoffs, you are stealing from hardworking Americans. And what I mean by that is you're actually stealing not from Anthony Marfione, not from Chris Reeve, not from Greg Medford, not from Mick Strider. You're not stealing from those guys. You're stealing from the people that work for them. And what I mean by that is by default, when you take any of the company's bottom line off the table, it has a trickling effect down into the business. Yeah, Anthony Marfione probably has a badass boat, big house, nice stuff, all the toys. But think about the guy who's working for $10 an hour sweeping the floor. Think about the guy who's running a CNC machine for 12 hours. Think about the people that are sandblasting and grinding, doing the administrative work, doing the marketing, doing the sales. Think about those people. The single moms, the, you know, guys who have been working there 20 years and they're, you know, working towards retirement. Think about those guys when you buy that stuff. And if it still doesn't bother you to steal from these companies, you've got bigger moral issues, and this isn't even an issue about knives. This is far beyond that. The other idea that I want to kind of plant in y'all's minds is, it doesn't just stop at knives. When you buy a knockoff knife, you can rest assured that that company in China that's making these knives isn't just making knives. They're making off-road Jeep stuff. They're making stuff for razors. They're making fidget spinners. They're making toasters. They're making, you name it, they're making everything. Maybe not in every case, but these companies that have the capability of making these knives, they're making a ton of other stuff too. So you're not just promoting the theft of knives, you're promoting the theft of a lot of American products. And this is the problem, that people actually think it's okay to buy abroad not only a inferior product, but a stolen product. It is intellectual property theft. And some people are going to go into the knife companies steal from each other all the time. That's more competition than it is anything. And when China comes in and steals the exact product and labels it, whether or not they label it's theft, but when they do label it as, or they make an identical product and leave the label off of it, it is theft. If Benchmade went out tomorrow and copied the Ultratech tick for tack, or made it a little bit smaller but an exact replica, they would be in court the next day. Rest assured, we can't take these Chinese companies to court because of the sanctions. There's not anything we can do about it here in this country except stop buying the shit. Most of the people who are buying this stuff can't afford the real deal. They just can't afford it. And there is an entitlement in this country where it's like, I'm going to get it either way. No matter what, I'm going to get it. You're not really getting it. You're getting a piece of shit hunk of spring steel and pot metal that's going to end up in the back of your junk drawer, whether or not it works. It is garbage. I have never met anybody that I would actually associate with that carries around a cheap Chinese knockoff knife. It's like, would you date a girl who is 100% for stealing, or, you know, cheap Chanel bags? Probably not. She's probably a cheap bimbo. And I'm not saying they're all that way. Some of them are just morally lost. They don't understand the repercussions of their actions. And I'm thinking big picture here. Yeah, your one little knife purchase is not going to affect Microtech that much. But when there's a bunch of people doing it, it definitely affects Microtech. It definitely affects Strider and Medford and Rick Hinderer and Chris Reeve. All the names of the companies that I've just listed, you can find knockoffs, exact replica knockoffs. Some of them even say the company name. It's fucked up. And if you are one of those people who can knowingly buy stuff like that, I really don't want you to subscribe to my channel. I really don't want to associate with you. And all the videos I make are not for you. They're not intended for you. They're intended for the people who are legit. I haven't always been able to afford nice things. This is a very expensive truck that I'm sitting in. I have a very nice house sitting on property. I have a very successful business. And I'm not trying to be grandiose. I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to show off or be flashy. I'm trying to prove a point. I grew up in a fucking trailer with bullet holes in it. I literally came from nothing. I had nothing growing up. I was below middle class. I was impoverished. So when I started making money and I started doing good for myself and I busted my ass and I earned it, that's when I went out and started buying high-end knives. But from the get-go, my first knife was an Emerson CQC7, and it was a gift from somebody. That's what got me into knives. And early on, I mean, we're talking like 16, 17, might even be 18 years ago. Early on, I couldn't afford expensive knives. So I carried that same quality American knife for years. And then finally, when I could afford to start buying these knives and buying cool guns and buying cool gear and other toys that I'm into, dirt bikes and razors and all that shit, when I started buying all that stuff, it was because I could afford it. Not because I was mortgaged to the hilt, not because I was buying it all on credit cards. That's not what I did. I saved my money. I worked hard. I earned it. So if you're one of these people who can't do that, you have far bigger problems than stealing intellectual property. And I really don't want to associate with you. Me and you are not the same people. I have a moral line in the sand, and stealing on any level isn't on any of it. Lying is not on it. People who lie and steal can never be trusted. And if you are knowingly buying a stolen product, whether it be from a pawn store or off Craigslist or off Alibaba, it is intellectual theft. It is stealing, no matter how you slice it. No matter how you justify it, you are stealing. There is a huge, like Interpol and a lot of those, border agencies. They are able to grab a lot of stuff that comes over here on shipped from China. They're able to grab a lot of it, but they don't even put a dent in it. And this knife thing is just one more thing to add to the list. So it's a trickle effect. It's like the guy who goes and buys pot and says, well, I'm not hurting anybody. No, you're funding a fucking cartel. Instead of moving to a state where weed's legal and going to a dispensary, you are funding the cartel at some level. Yeah, it's street level, but it's still funding illegal crime. Pot is probably the last on my list. That's not something that I really even care about. I promote weed. I think people should smoke it if they want. But if you don't understand, if you haven't understood up to this point what I'm talking about, what I'm saying is stop buying clone knives. Save your money. There's websites out there, Knife Addiction, Arizona Custom Knives. These, and I think some of the bigger ones now are offering layaway now too. These websites, you can go in there and you can even buy secondhand high quality knives, put it on layaway, and pay for it monthly until you can actually get it. And if you can't afford that, then you need to fucking save your money. You need to make better financial decisions, and you shouldn't be buying fucking knives anyways. Speaking of knives, Strider SNG, still carrying it. In my other pocket today, Hinderer XM18 Fatty. Review will be coming on this, probably within the next 6 months, somewhere in there. I told you guys I'm going to be ramping up my videos. It is happening. And just really think about what you're doing before you do it. I mean, if you can search deep down inside yourself and still think that, hey, I'm okay with buying clone knives, you're just not really my kind of person. I would really hope that you just don't subscribe to my channel. I think it's fucking wrong. I know there's a lot of opinions out there, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, knife companies steal from each other. And I only have this one. I only bought it because I want to see what it's like to carry a Switchblade. Go to fucking SHOT Show, dude. Go to fucking Blade Show. I live outside of Atlanta, like about an hour outside of Atlanta. I go to Blade Show every year. Every year. If I want to buy a high quality knife, and it's not necessarily in my budget, but I want to work towards it, I have something to aspire towards, I'll go to Blade Show and I'll check it out. And then if I really want it, I'll save my money. I'll make smart financial decisions. So there's a huge spectrum here with these clones, and I think if we want to make this country better, we've got to stop buying abroad. We've got to stop buying shit that China has stolen from us to begin with. And don't go into like, oh, your car was made in China. This truck was made in fucking Indiana. So kiss my ass. Any chance I get to buy American, I most certainly buy American. Almost every chance I get, I buy American made. And I think everybody else should try to do the same thing. And if we did, we could build this country back to what it once was. We are still the greatest country on earth, in my opinion, but we can build it back. We can do it together. So all you guys out there that are going to talk shit, go ahead and post that shit talking in the comments. I don't really care. All you people that are going to thumbs down, thumbs down. But if you believe what I believe, you believe that these clones are a problem and that we need to do something about it, that we need to speak out about it, and we need to shun the motherfuckers who promote it, go ahead and hit like, please. If you have viewed some of my content and you like it, please subscribe. We're going to be ramping up our videos. I apologize for the poor quality. I mean, I film all this on an iPhone 10, so, you know, I apologize if it's not great. But I want you guys to understand that there's a moral boundary here, and I think if everybody did their part, things would get a lot better. And who knows, maybe all these expensive knives would go down in price if, you know, they didn't have to battle fucking offshore production. You know, I mean, it's hard to compete with. I know, I'm a contractor, I'm a home builder, and I gotta compete with illegals. My price stays the same though. I don't really give a shit what the illegals want to charge. We offer something that they can't. That being said, y'all have a great day. Don't take that as I have something against, you know, Mexicans or, you know, immigrants. I don't. I'm like third generation in this country, so nothing against those people. I think they should come here illegally, pay taxes like the rest of us, and they should integrate like the rest of us, and everything will be fine, and we can all sing Kumbaya. The boat is full. It's time for some people to start swimming. So, y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.